So Rab and I were actually in her live, and she was calling out the guys to step up and who was going to step forward for this. So thank you, Bari Mother, for giving us that push, because without you, there would be no BME.
That's right. Very high fives. The Bari Male Experience Podcast brings together a group of passionate individuals who have navigated their own weight loss journeys, each with a distinct perspective. I love doing this. Each with a distinct perspective. Men comprise only 20% of the bariatric community, and their voices and experiences are often underrepresented. This podcast aims to fill that gap by providing a space for honest discussion about the challenges and triumphs faced by men undergoing a weight loss journey, from the emotional and psychological hurdles to the practical aspects of maintaining a healthy lifestyle post-surgery. No topic is off limits. Each episode dives deep into the personal stories and expert advice, offering insights and encouragement to those on a similar path. Whether you're considering bariatric surgery or currently undergoing the process or are looking for ways to maintain your progress, the Bari Male Experience Podcast is here to support you every step of the way. So join myself, WT Barry, Rab, Tony D, and Fadeaway Ryan as we share our experiences and interview experts and community members alike to bring you the most relevant and inspiring content. Together, let's break down barriers and build a stronger, healthier bariatric male experience. Today, we will have Mike embrace life as he shares his dynamic fitness and motivational, powerful presence on social media with that F Y'all podcast. We'd love to bring y'all the one and only Embrace Life.
How's it going? How's it going, man?
What's happening, man?
Another day in paradise. What's happening?
Man.
Just want to say thank you for taking time. I know you're working, and you're basically fitting this in the middle of your work schedule.
Yeah, so I apologize about the 45 minutes, man. I know y'all normally go an hour, but man, to get this bread, man.
Yeah, I hear you.
Understandable, man.
It's
all-
45 minutes well worth it, though.
What's a day in the life for you, man? Like, as you done this journey of weight loss, what's a day in the life now versus a day in life that you used to do when you were heavier?
Let's just say my days now include a lot of working out, which didn't include that when I was 473 pounds. So, but honestly, a typical day for me is, so if I'm working, I normally work 12-hour shifts. So I get up at, most mornings I'm up at 4:30, just getting myself ready for work. Got to be at work at 6:30, work 6:30 to 6:30, leave there, straight to the gym. Get home by 9 o'clock, do it all over again, my brother. It's like a hamster on a wheel, man. Work out. If on my days off, I'm running a couple of errands, or like today, technically I was supposed to be off, but I had a client that needed my help, so I'm out ripping and running the streets, man. So, but yeah, most of my days I'm pretty chill. If I'm not at home, I'm in the gym. If I'm not at gym, I'm at home or at work.
So I've also noticed that you've done posts where even when you're at work, you still have like resistance bands, and you still get that little bit of pump in there. So is that like you're really, really into it, and you whenever you get the chance?
So I do private security work for a certain rapper. But so sometimes, depending on, because we rotate shifts or we rotate posts at that location, if I'm outside, then I'll have my resistance bands. If I'm inside, then he allows us to use his gym on the inside. You will never see any videos of that because we are not allowed to have any phones or anything inside the building. But when I'm outside, if I'm doing my 12 outside, I got my resistance bands. We also got some weights outside that one of my boys just put out there. So we got a curl bar out there. We got resistance bands. We got dumbbells, anything I need just to keep the blood flowing. Nice. I could easily sit there for 12 hours, but why would I sit there for 12 hours when I can work out, you know?
That's real.
Nice. Take every opportunity available to you, right? Yeah,
man, and it's more me. I know I could be a little overboard with this, but I'm just, so hell-bent on not going back to what I used to be. You know what I'm saying? So going back to 473 pounds, if I got to throw an extra workout in, and it keeps me motivated, man. As long as I'm working, it just keeps me motivated to keep going, man. So again, and then those 12 hours can be long, so why not break up the monotony by lifting some weights? You know what I'm saying?
So what would you say was that pivotal moment? You said you were about 473, you said?
73 was my highest weight.
So what was that pivotal moment that was just like, I need to make a change in my life?
Honestly, for me, man, now mind you, I was one of those big people where, I didn't have diabetes. I did have high blood pressure, but I went a long time and didn't get that diagnosed. So that's what I tell people all the time. Make sure you are going to the doctor, getting your checkups and all that stuff. That stuff is super important, because going years with undiagnosed high blood pressure, it caused me some issues later on down the line, even after I lost the weight. But for me, I got sick one day, and I remember going to the hospital, and my blood pressure was 220 over 210. And I never forget, my doctor was like, "You're a walking stroke." And it was crazy, because not even that, the blood pressure is not what did it. It was when they had to weigh me, and they couldn't weigh me on the scale inside the hospital. They had to weigh me outside on the dock where they bring in freight. So I remember standing on this industrial scale where they weigh pallets. And I'll never forget, that number rolled across that screen. It was 473 pounds. That's when I knew I needed to do something, because I had been in complete denial about how big I had actually gotten. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I knew I was big. I was never in denial about I was big, but I didn't think I was almost 500 pounds big. And that right there was, let's just say it was extremely humbling for me to see 473 pounds roll across that screen. And the fact that I had to be weighed outside was another thing. It was just like, wow, I can't even be weighed on a regular scale anymore because I'm too big. That was what did it for me.
So tell me, what made you avoid going to the doctor? Like, what was it? Like, did you ever feel you had signs outside of that moment, like leading up?
Honestly, no. But when I look at it in the moment, no. When I look back on it, yeah, there were definitely signs that I ignored. Why didn't I go to the doctor like I should have? Being a dumb man, like seriously.
Yeah.
And I say that not trying to be funny, but it was just that thing where, I don't know. I went through that point in my life where I just thought I was invincible. You just think I'm good. Like, I'm not having any symptoms. I'm not, this ain't going on. Everything is good. So I just assumed everything was good, not knowing that, especially with high blood pressure, a lot of the time there are no signs to it. That's why they call it the silent killer.
Was it like an ignorant denial almost?
Yes, very much so. Very much so.
Do you think that's because, like, as men, we are like, we think that, well, I have to provide or protect or some nature in that sense, and like, I don't have time to take a day off to go to the doctor. I don't have time to take care of myself.
It wasn't even that for me. I just didn't look at it at the time as taking care of myself. I look at it like that now, but when I was 20, 30, I wasn't looking at it like that. I was just like, hey, if I ain't fell over, if I ain't got some kind of pain here, or I'm having some kind of issue here, then everything must be good. And that's just, that's just being stupid. And that's just what it was. I was just being stupid. Just because I thought I didn't have any symptoms, I just felt everything was good. And so when you go to the doctor and you see your blood pressure that high, I mean, I know people that have dropped dead with blood pressure way lower than that. It was still technically high, but for both my numbers to be in the 200s, I could have easily been dead, man. Easily.
What were some of your biggest challenges that you faced in this journey so far, Mike?
The thing you talk about just after weight loss surgery? That what you're referring to?
Yeah.
The biggest challenges for me, even 5 years out, is still getting enough protein, getting enough water. Those are my main struggles every day. Oh, mind you, let me add the third one. Fighting my sweet tooth, because my sweet tooth, when I tell you it is raging. But what I did learn, and this has been very helpful, what I realized was I was very dehydrated. And once I started hydrating, not just with water, like I do a lot of coconut water, watermelon juice, cucumbers, all of that stuff. Once I got hydrated, my cravings kind of started to subside.
Really?
And as I started researching it, it was just like, oh, so being dehydrated can cause you all kind of crap. It can make your sugar cravings go through the roof. And that's what it was for me. And I didn't realize it until I started getting myself hydrated. So every morning, you know, I do my coconut juice or my watermelon juice or whatever. And I keep my water with me as well. But as my body started to hydrate, the cravings are starting. Now, don't get me wrong. They haven't totally went away, but they're definitely not as bad as they used to. So those have been my three main big struggles since having weight loss surgery.
Do you think having a sweet tooth and maybe overeating sugar affected your mood at all?
Honestly, I didn't see any correlation with the sugar and my mood, because what I will say is my mood has always been very chill and laid back. Like that hasn't went anywhere, but I seem to be in a better mood since I started losing the weight. I will say that, especially with the working out, and I do the working out because it not only helps me stay in shape, but it also helps keep me mentally going. That's you know, one of my podcast hosts has a saying that my psychiatrist on the end of a 45-pound bar. And that's just what it is. When I'm in that gym, I can take out all of my frustrations on those weights. And I honestly feel like $1 million every time I come out of there. So I wouldn't say, I don't think the sugar had anything to do with my mood, at least not that I've noticed.
Yeah, but how'd you develop that start though? Because you've been surrounded by people who work out all the time when you were heavy. And you didn't work out then, right? So after you had the surgery, like, how did you just get started and go? Did you just get it in your head and just go for it, and nothing was going to stop you, or what was that? What did that look like?
I knew early on after having weight loss, even when I was researching having a weight loss surgery, and I've known people over the years that had the procedure. And honestly, I've known 8 people that had it. Only one of them has kept the weight off. So for me, it made me realize early on in this process that yes, you're going to lose weight with the weight loss surgery, but it's not the be all end all. You still got to do what you got to do. You still got to watch what you eat. You still got to work out. So when I tell people now that, you know, ask me about it, I'm like, look, if you're not willing to make lifestyle changes in this process, you're not going to be successful at it. So, but I knew early on that I had to work out. So yes, I've been surrounded by people in the fitness industry, but it wasn't until I got in my mind that I needed to do this. Being surrounded by that stuff all day won't change your perspective on anything, not until you're ready to do it. And so my thing was, if I'm going to have this surgery, I'm not going to fail at it. That was my goal from day one. I'm not going to fail at it. I'm going to do everything that I need to do to make sure that I'm successful with it. And I knew working out was going to be the thing that was going to help me. But what I didn't know early on was that I didn't really have a plan. I just started going into the gym. So when I first started working out, I tell people, they ask me like, well, what did you do to get yourself motivated? I just went into the gym the first 3 or 4 months, and all I did was arms. I said, find something you like to do in the gym and do that until you get yourself adjusted mentally and physically to go into that gym every day. And that's what I did. So all I did the first couple of months I went in there was arms, curls, tricep extensions. I love working arms. That's my thing. So after a couple of months of that, it was just a habit of every morning getting up, going to the gym. So once I got myself to that point, then it was just like, okay, now I need a plan. And luckily for me, at that particular time, my podcast host, CT Fletcher, who was a famous power lifter, bodybuilder, all of that stuff, he had a new training app. So he was like, hey, check this out. I got a new training app. Why don't you be the first person to work it through, and then we can kind of use you as like a kind of marketing thing. And that's what I did. He gave me his app, and I use that app, and I still use it in a sense to this day. Even 5 years out, I still use it. So that, and it's been the thing, weightlifting, and I do cardio. People always assume I don't do cardio, but I do cardio. But the thing that's really helped me keep the weight off 5 years is weightlifting. It is crazy because I'm still losing weight to this day. I like being between 215 to 220. I'm 210 right now. So, you know, now that's another struggle, because what I tell you, my body will lose, it's going to adjust wherever it needs to adjust. So I may feel good at 210, but clearly my body likes being 210, somewhere around in there. So, but yeah, just find something you like to do, go in there and get yourself, that's what did it for me. That's all I can say. That's what helped me out.
So you're a licensed trainer now?
Personal trainer, yeah.
So so was all the being around that atmosphere, was it that app, or was it like that program you were in that inspired you to want to help people to do that?
Nope. It was none of that. What really made me want to get my personal training license was after talking to a lot of bariatric people and just experiences they were telling me while they were trying to go to a gym. That bothered me to hear some of the horror stories that I've heard from people in the bariatric community that just want to go to the gym and want to work out. And to hear the crap they were getting from personal trainers at the gym, just other people in the gym, honestly, it pissed me off. And so my goal going forward is to create a safe place for people who have been where I was. I know what that feels like. You know what I'm saying? I got a little tougher skin on the back end, so people fucking with me don't really bother me because I can dish it out and I can take it. But everybody's not built like that. So my thing is, I hated hearing so many stories of people who fell off their health journey or their bariatric journey because they didn't feel comfortable going to a gym. So my goal is to create a safe place for, right now I'm focused mainly on bariatric people, but eventually that will expand. But my goal is to make sure that people on a bariatric journey can be trained by somebody who's been through what they've been through. You know, I've done it, and I think I've been pretty successful with it. So instead of them having to go to a gym and talk to a personal trainer who's never been through the bariatric process and is probably going to go out of their way to make them feel bad for that decision, I can train you. I know what that's like. I know what the struggles you're going to deal with. That's what motivated me to do it.
So what are the things that you offer with the personal training? Do you offer, is it just strictly what's going on in the gym? Do you give any like nutritional advice out there, or like
the nutritional side of it? I'm actually going to go back and get do the nutrition side of it. But right now, I'm mainly focused on just the working out part of it because I'm not well versed in the nutrition side of it. Now, I can tell you what worked for me over the years, but just because it worked for me doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work for the next person. So I would rather get more knowledge and training on the nutrition side before I start offering that service.
Is there any way anyone can contact you about your services as far as training?
Yeah, they can reach me right here on TikTok. Send me a DM, and I'll be more than happy to sit down and discuss stuff with you.
Go. So we talked about a little bit about what led you to surgery. We've talked about, you working out and being a trainer. Can you touch a little bit on how weight loss and fitness influenced your role as a father?
So my kids are grown now. Now I wish I would have started this process years ago because I missed so much of my kids' childhood being fat and just not saying that I didn't interact with them, but I think there was a lot of stuff that I shied away from doing with them because of my size. So right now it's helpful for me in a sense now because and then one of my daughters also deals with weight issues, so I can help her now. But when I look back on it, I wish I had done this earlier. So maybe I could have got her on track early on. That's like the one regret that I do have because what we don't understand with kids is they kind of follow our lead. As a parent, they're eating what I was eating. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And taking on a lot of the bad habits that I had. So part of me is I regret that I didn't take on a healthier lifestyle when they were younger, so I could have been a better example for them. But with that being said, I'm still very lucky that I'm still here and able to be an example for them now, even though that they're grown. So now we all work out together, as much as we can with my schedule. But, I still get to go to the gym with them. My girls are here in California with me now, so I can, help them, making sure that they're eating what they're supposed to, and kind of guiding them along on their journey. They all seem to be taking very well to it. So it's definitely helped me become a better father because I'm more focused on not only my health. And that's where, when you were, Ron, when you were saying earlier about, feeling like you don't have time, but I understand that I have to take time to make sure that I'm the best version of me so I can be the best version of myself for my children and everybody in my family. So, when I was younger, I would look at it felt selfish if I did anything for me, but no, that's how it should be. I need to pour into myself so then I can pour into everybody else.
I know that's right.
So can I ask you this, like maybe action-wise, besides the gym, what other ways do you pour into you?
Right now is doing the thing. Well, and this is the thing. I'm learning on this journey that it hasn't only been a weight loss journey for me. It's been a mental journey as well. So going all those years and not doing things for myself, I'm now at this weird place at 46 where I'm just starting to find the things that I like to do. I'm learning what I love. This podcast that I'm doing, this is a labor of love for me. This is what I like doing. So a lot of my downtime is focused on trying to get this podcast off the ground to turn it into something amazing. This is the vision that I have in my head for this thing. So if I'm not in the gym or if I'm not at work, I am finding ways to grow this podcast and just learning as much as I can right now. So I went to college. It was crazy because I went to college and I have a degree in communications. I had every intentions on being this big time radio disc jockey. That's what I wanted to do when I came out of college. Got out of college and realized a lot of those cats don't make a whole lot of money, not unless you like a Tom Joyner or, some big time name. So I never applied that degree to anything until now. So it's like, this is what I love to do. I love talking to people. I love researching individuals. I love that stuff. So I'm now in this weird space where I'm finding out what I love to do. And podcasting is one of them. Working out is one of them. And just spending time with my kids. That's the big thing for me. It's just being around and spending time with the people in my circle that I love and I care about.
So the podcast, like what? It's not really. It has nothing to do with bariatrics.
Nope.
So, like, can you explain what the concept behind the F Y'all podcast is about?
So the F Y'all podcast started off as just an ideal a few years ago. And mind you, it wasn't supposed to be called the F Y'all podcast. You could blame my co-host for that one. But if anybody knows CT Fletcher, if you know CT Fletcher became famous on YouTube 15, 16 years ago. And he became famous on YouTube for his training methods. He would cuss you out, talk crazy to you, all of that stuff. And there was a young kid that used to train with him that came into the gym out here in Long Beach years ago and said, "Hey, can I put you on YouTube?" And he said, "I don't even know what YouTube is." So he told him what YouTube was, and he said, "Hey, I'll do it as long as I can do it and be myself. If I can be myself, I'll do your YouTube." The YouTube took off. So I asked him about this, what was this? Maybe 3 years ago, I asked him, I said, we all call him Pops. So I said, "Pops, what you think about doing a podcast?" And he was like, "Nah, son, I don't know about," he had just come off an open heart. He had a heart transplant about 5 years ago. So he was still recovering from that. And he was just like, don't really have the energy for it. I said, okay. So I put it to the side. And then about 6 months ago, he comes to me and said, "Hey, what do you think about doing the podcast again?" And I was like, cool. So we started kind of, just throwing stuff around. And I said, "Well, what are we going to call it?" And he was like, "We're going to call it the Fuck Y'all Podcast." Because again, if you know CT, his favorite word is fuck. That's what he became famous for on YouTube, saying fuck you to everybody, all of that stuff. So, I was a little hesitant with calling it the Fuck Y'all Podcast. I was like, "Pop, we can't call it the Fuck Y'all Podcast." He was like, "Nope, we're going to call it the Fuck Y'all Podcast." I was like, "All right. If you say so, but I don't know if we're going to get any sponsor dollars or none of this crap." But what blew me away was the reaction that we've got to this podcast. When we had Terry Crews on, so Terry Crews was our first guest, and I was shaking before we got I was like, there's no way Terry Crews is going to get on this podcast called the Fuck Y'all Podcast. Not only did Terry Crews do the podcast, we got him on, and he was like, "I'm so honored to be on the Fuck Y'all Podcast." So every guest that we have, I think it was just more me worrying about what the perception was going to be. But this thing has taken off like gangbusters, man. It is mind-blowing that, and I guess it was just me being a little sensitive or, not wanting to offend anybody, but nobody's been offended. But we talk about any and everything. So there will be, I'm putting together, and I think I told you guys about this, there will be an episode about bariatric surgery. What I'm learning, especially the reason that it's so important for me to do this is because CT is so well known amongst the fitness world. And I think it's going to give me a broader audience to especially not only talk to bariatric people, but talk to these fitness influencers who seem to have an issue with weight loss surgery. They like to talk shit about weight loss surgery. You have no idea how many of these, like Friday, we're headed to Houston for the Houston Fit Expo. I have been to so many of these Fit Expos, and when you tell people, first of all, when some of these fitness influencers come up to me, they just, for some reason, it's hard for them to fathom that I was almost 500 pounds.
Right.
So then when I tell them I had weight loss surgery, they go, you can tell by the look on their face, they're just like, oh, like, you know, it's just
like in disbelief, right? Like,
No,
like,
the easy way out. Oh.
yeah. And I tell any of them, and I've had multiple ones tell me, oh, so you took the easy way out. And I tell them all the time, if you truly feel like I took the easy way out, I tell you what, you meet me at the gym and we can get down in the gym. And I guarantee you, you will not outwork me. So my goal now going forward is to change, and I get it, you're not going to be able to change everybody's mind or how they see bariatric surgery. But I want to try to paint the picture as broad as I can that this is not the easy way out. We still have struggles that we have to deal with every day with this procedure. So it's not like, oh yeah, I had weight loss surgery in 2019. Weight loss surgery helped me put this muscle on. Me getting in the gym helped me put this muscle on. And that's what I need people to understand. Is just because we have weight loss surgery does not mean that we don't work as hard as you work.
Look, and over 40.
Yeah, and I'm damn near 50. So it's like, come on, man. And mind you, a lot of this stuff is coming from these little fitness influencers that are 20, 25 years old. All of that crap. That's just like...
Not broken down by life yet.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me as much as it used to. It used to really piss me off. Now it doesn't even piss me off anymore. It's just like and after talking to a few of them, what I'm learning is it's not, a lot of them are not trying to be disrespectful when they say it's just they don't know any better. They just assume that you've had weight loss surgery, so you just lost all this weight and everything was easy. But when you actually sit down and talk to them and I tell them about the struggles that I deal with on this journey, then I can kind of see their brain like, oh, it's not as easy as I thought it was. It's just because they don't know.
So
and a lot of them don't care to know.
So there's a story that we talked about this before, and there's a story about this whole like, oh, you took the easy way out. There's a story about you having surgery that I actually like you to share with people because I think it's a really good point. In
2021, I ended up having an aorta dissection. This was in the middle of COVID, and it was crazy because I had turned my garage at the time. I was living in Maryland, so I had turned my garage into a gym because they had shut all the gyms down and everything. And I remember being in the gym and I'm working out. Being in the garage and working out, and I was lifting kind of heavy that day. And I remember I was trying to get off the bench. And when I sat up off the bench, I just felt this pain in my chest that went all the way down to my midsection. I was like, what the hell? I thought I had pulled a muscle or something. So I finally make my way into the house. Now, mind you, I'm literally crawling into the house because I couldn't walk. And I didn't know what was going on. Finally get into the house. And a couple of days go by. Now, this happened on a Friday. So I wake up the next morning. I'm feeling better, but I still got a pain. I no longer have the chest pain, but I had this pain in my midsection. Like, what is that? So then Saturday goes away, Sunday comes around, and I knew Monday I had to go out of town for work. So now, mind you, Sunday I'm feeling a lot better. Still got a slight pain in my midsection, but it's starting to go away. But something, again, this goes back to the conversation we had earlier about not going to the doctor. Something in my brain was like, take your ass and go get checked out before you go out of town on Monday. There was an urgent care up the street from my house. Go up to the urgent care. My wife at the time is just like, she drops me off. She was like, I'm going to run over here to Target, and when I come back, hopefully they'll have you checked in. So I'm sitting in the lobby, and by the time she comes back, I'm literally passing out in the lobby of the urgent care. Like, I break out into this sweat. Like, I'm literally sweating through my clothes, but I'm freezing cold at the time. And then I pass out. Wake up in the back of an ambulance. They get me to the hospital. And the nurse is like, what's going on with you? So I'm telling him about the symptoms. And he says, hey, let's do a CAT scan. Cool. Do the CAT scan. He rolls me back into the room. Literally 5 minutes later, he runs back into the room. He says, "Hey, we got a helicopter coming. We're airlifting you to University of Maryland. You're going into immediate open heart surgery." I'm like, well, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm going into open heart surgery. He said, "You have a tear in your aorta." That's all he told me. Now, mind you, about an hour and a half have passed since I passed out in the lobby of the urgent care. And I'm feeling a lot better. I no longer got the pain in my midsection. So when he's telling me that I'm going into open heart surgery, I'm starting to kind of freak out. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? So anyway, they rushed me up to the room, put me on a helicopter, fly me to downtown Maryland. I'm in downtown Baltimore. Get there. Luckily, to make a long story short, luckily I didn't have to have open heart surgery, but I still have a tear in my aorta. And eventually down the line, I'll have to get a stent put in if the tear gets any bigger. Luckily, the last 3 years, it's stable, no issues. But this was caused by having all those years of undiagnosed high blood pressure. This is why I tell people, go get yourself checked out, because had I had done it years ago and got on medication and got the blood pressure under control, I most likely wouldn't have had the aorta dissection I had. The crazy part about that is they told me after that I could no longer lift weights. They were just like, we're shutting you down from lifting weights. And I remember calling CT and I said, "Hey, Pops, they telling me I can't." Now, mind you, I was only 2 years in, but I had really got I was in my zone with the working out. Like, that was my thing. Or the weightlifting. And so when they told me that I couldn't lift weights anymore, like, it threw me into a deep depression. Like, here's this thing that I found that I love that has really been beneficial to me on this journey, and then you telling me that I can't have it anymore. And that threw me off. So I called CT and I said, "Hey, Pops, they're telling me I can't lift weights anymore." And the only thing he said to me was like, "Are you dead?" I was like, "No, Pops, I'm not dead." And he was like, "Well, and his other famous saying is that it's still your motherfucking set." So what we did was we just revamped my training program. So I no longer do any heavy lifting at all anymore. I only do lightweight and a lot of reps. So most people, when you start off lifting weights, you're doing 6 to 8 reps. I do 12 to 15 reps, but I keep the weight really light. And it's just to keep any extra stress off my heart, to hopefully I don't tear, this thing any bigger. But the crazy part about that is when I changed up the way that I trained and did the lightweight, more reps, that's when my body really started to transform. That's the thing that has really been beneficial to me. So I don't do any heavy lifting at all. People look at me and assume that I do, but I'm weak as shit, bro. I don't do any heavy lifting at all.
For real? So like the lighter the weight, the more reps, it's going to cut you up.
It's going to cut you up. It's going to give you more of a leaner look instead of a bulkier look if you were lifting heavy. And honestly, I don't want to, as my body starts to slim out, I actually like the way I look a little slimmer. So it's just been that I didn't ever wanted to get bulky again. I'm so freaked out about putting on extra weight now. Like, I'm scared I'm going to go back to what I used to be. And I know that's crazy in my brain, but it's just the way my brain operates right now. So gaining weight is not what I'm trying to do. I like the weight where I'm at, but I do want to look more cut up and defined. And so the lightweight, if your goal is to tone up and look more defined, do the lightweight and the more volume is what I do.
For you, what would lightweight be considered? Like, if we're talking about bench press, what does that look like for you?
205.
185. No, shit. Hell no. 185.
Okay.
185. Sometimes 135, depending on what I'm doing that day. Like, if I'm just doing like a light chest workout, I'll just do a plate on each side. I'll do 135, rep it out. And if I'm doing something like 135 on the bench, and I'll do it like 20 times. You know what I'm saying? I'll keep it light. Now, a heavy day for me, if I decided I want to do any kind of, it might be 225. But I can only do 225 for maybe like 5 or 6 reps. I'm not banging out a whole bunch of reps on 225.
All right, y'all. Look, it's halftime, 7:30. Thanks for the 15,000 likes at 7:30 my time, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. And I would say that it's probably about 5:30 Pacific time. Yeah. We got about 15 minutes left with Embrace Life. We would like to thank you all for 15,000 likes. If you all could please share the live, we'd highly appreciate it. In the meantime, we continue to appreciate you for all your support. And I may have said that a little different, but that's what Barefoot does, not me. But Tony, if you want to share anything else during this halftime, please do.
All right. Well, definitely, we are making a push for 100 men at Bariatric Retreat. So be sure get your tickets. You can hit the link in our bio. Code DME will give you $25 off the Bariatric Retreat ticket, which is going on November 6th through the 10th at Paradise Point in San Diego, California. It's going to be a vibe. We are doing an all-male BME episode on stage at Bariatric Retreat, so that's going to be a real good time. We're looking forward to seeing everyone there. Be sure to check out every Sunday night our sister chat, Talk Barry to Me, with our friend and host, VSG Bestie. And she goes live every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific. And this Monday, don't forget to check out, we are having the Bariatric Male Mental Health Shop Talk with our friend Fadeaway Ryan here. What is the details for this Monday coming up?
So this Monday, the conversation is for men to look at their strengths. What have they learned in their journey as been a superpower of a strength to them to keep them consistently going in life? I like the idea of using strength because a lot of times we look at our career or what we provide as strength, but that internal strength is something that keeps us going. Like when you can't stay motivated, you have to stay consistent. So what is that thing that keeps you pushing?
That's right. And also, I don't know how often people should check into the Just F Y'all podcast, Mike, Embrace Life, but how often are you all putting up new shows or new interviews with, and what's coming up?
We put up a new show every Saturday morning at midnight. It drops every Saturday at midnight. So we record once a week. We just did a 2-part series with Craig Munson, who is the former gang member and big-time bodybuilder out here in California. Was one of the biggest bodybuilders ever. 6'4", 280 pounds of pure muscle. Was big time over at Venice Beach back in the day. Was also one of the first gang leaders out here in LA as well. So that was a very, very interesting interview. Tomorrow we have another bodybuilder by the name of former bodybuilder by the name of John Brown. John Brown is now a trainer, and he has 3 sons that he trained and are all in the NFL now. Mm-hmm. So he was a big-time bodybuilder in the 70s and 80s as well. So we'll have him on tomorrow. Coming up, we got Diamond Dallas Page, former WCW wrestler. We got Stone Cold Steve Austin coming up in September. Who else we got? We got Kevin Gates coming up. We got...
You got Kevin Gates coming up too, Mike?
We got Kevin Gates. We got Swerve Strickland, AEW heavyweight champion. We got Shane Taylor, who's also a wrestler in AEW as well, the Ring of Honor. We got him coming up. We got a lot of big things coming up, man. We got a lot of big things coming up, bro.
Make sure y'all tune in to F Y'all
tune into that.
YouTube. Subscribe. And while y'all subscribing to F Y'all Podcast, make sure you tap on over to Bari Male Experience and subscribe with us as well.
Yeah, right.
With that being said, we have touched on just about everything but one thing. And that's the skin removal, man.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that decision? And, because you had a lot of, I've seen your videos. And it looks so freaking painful. And what you've described to us, it was a difficult, recovery. Can you tell us about that and how you came to determine that that's what you wanted to do and what that
started after I lost the first 150 pounds, my brother? When I tell you I look like a melted candle in a bobblehead doll, I knew. Again, don't get me wrong, weightlifting is only going to do so much. It's only going to do so much. But my trouble areas was my midsection. And when I first started going to get consultations, I was just like, if I could just get the skin off my midsection removed, that was driving me crazy. And what people don't understand is, like, even as a man, like, when you put your clothes on, you got all that loose skin around your stomach and it's hanging over into your pelvis area. Like, it looked ridiculous. I'm okay with the loose skin under my arms. I still deal with that. But going to the consultations, what I realized is, well, what I was told is not only did I need to get the skin off my midsection removed, I also had to have a back lift as well. So I had what they call a 360 belt lipectomy. So it's basically a 360 cut all the way around your pelvis area. They cut that skin off, pull it real tight. They also tightened up my abdominal muscles because I was so damn fat. I had blown those out. So they tightened up my abdominal muscles, tightened that skin up. So the problem with a 360 belt lipectomy, which is different from a normal tummy tuck, normal tummy tuck is that normal tummy tuck is from like hip to hip. When you get cut all the way around after the surgery, you can't stand up straight. You have to literally walk hunched over. So for almost 6 weeks, I was walked hunched over. Like I couldn't stand up straight. That was terrible. Absolutely terrible. So not only that, then you got the drains hanging out. And I am very squeamish when it comes to blood, even my own blood. So seeing these things filled up with blood was driving me insane for about 6 weeks. One of the best decisions I ever made. I'm super happy with the results, but that not being able to walk upright and just being in constant pain was very difficult because I don't do well with pain meds, so I really didn't take them. So I tried to fight through it just because I don't like the way the pain meds made me feel, but it was tough, man. It was super, super tough. So I tell people anytime that, thinking about it, I'm like, look, I don't regret it, but just know that going into this process, it's going to be hard. And if you are not ready to fight and have some really, really tough days, then don't do it. But again, I don't regret it at all. Best decision I ever made. Like I said, I'm not doing any more surgeries. I can take, I got the loose skin on my chest, loose skin on my arm. I can take all that. The midsection, I couldn't handle. I could not handle it.
Yeah, I feel you on that one. The midsection, that's where I carry all of my weight, and like all of my excess skin is really around my waist. And the whole melted candle is probably the best analogy to explain what I feel.
I actually stole that from my cousin. She had bariatric surgery years ago, and she always said, "I look like a melted candle." So then when I had mine, I was like, "Oh, she was right. I do look like a damn melted candle."
But I don't know if I could be hunched over for 5 to 6 weeks. My back is already bad enough. So I don't know how
that's the thing is because that cut is all the way around. If I had stood up straight, you take the chance of busting the stitches open and all of that stuff. So they don't want you to do that. So you literally got to sleep sitting up. I couldn't sleep. I could have slept laying flat. I just wasn't comfortable doing that. So luckily I got an adjustable bed. But I had to sleep sitting up for 6 weeks too.
Yeah.
Getting out of the bed was also a struggle. You sitting up and you got to move really slow, turn. Everything was super, super slow. It was rough. But like I said, in the end, all worth it.
Yeah, it's. I have my consultation coming up in January. I had to basically waiting almost a full year for my consultation just to see the plastics doctor. So, like, I'm working.
I tell people all the time that procedure in the back lift. The best $15,000 I ever spent in my life. Take it. I will take it.
It was just difficult to get through.
Yeah, it was, and I knew that going in. The surgeon that I had in Baltimore, she was very upfront about the procedure and how difficult the recovery was going to be. So I went into it knowing that it was going to be rough, but her telling you and actually going through it, two totally different things, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was what's any advice that you could offer anyone who is considering bariatric surgery and or skin removal?
Research. Too many times I talk to people that they may hear my story and they just assume, well, I'm going to do it because you did it and it worked for you. Everybody's story is totally different. So I never shy away from the bariatric topic, but I never push it on anybody. So my thing is, if you're thinking about doing it, don't take my results or the next person's results. Just do your research and then make an informed decision that works best for you. Don't base it off what you saw somebody else do. So that's my big thing when it comes to it.
Yeah. You guys got anything else for Mike? Anybody in the comments? You have any questions? You can. We got about 2 minutes left.
Yeah, actually, I got about 10 minutes, bro. If y'all want to go for a little while, she just texted me. She's still in the store, so she just told me she's gonna be a few more minutes. So
Okay.
All right, that's cool.
The only thing I can think of is I want to know from your aspect, like mentally, what has been probably the most consistent mentally tough act you've done to stay motivated or stay consistent in what you're doing? Like what drives you?
not going back to being 473 pounds again. That's what motivates me now. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of things that motivate me. Being here for my children is motivating, but I am so hell-bent on not being that guy that I was again. That's the thing. When I have those mornings where I don't want to get up and go to the gym, I'll be laying in the bed and I'll just pull up a picture of me when I was heavy. And I'm like, I don't want to go back to being that guy again. And that thing keeps me motivated just to get my ass up and go into that gym. Now, don't get me wrong. I still, I have those days where instead of going 6 days a week, I may go 4 days a week. So I don't try to act like I'm perfect when it comes to that. But my motivation now is not going back to the guy that I used to be. That's the thing that drives me every day.
Can I ask you, do you not like that man that you were before?
Physically, no. And I say that because I was killing myself. I know had I not made this decision to have weight loss surgery and made the changes that I did, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you guys right now. I know I wouldn't. And that and it goes back to the aorta dissection. My doctor, and I was telling him the surgeon that was talking to me that night I went into the hospital, I was telling him about my weight loss journey. He said, Michael, I'm going to be very honest with you about something. He said, and like I said, by this time I had lost 150 pounds, I think it was, somewhere around in there. And he said, Michael, I'm going to be very honest with you about something. He said, had you not lost the weight that you lost and this happened, he said, I'm 99% sure you would have dropped dead when you were standing there. He said, it just would have been too much stress on your body carrying that much weight around. And then to have this happen, he said, I'm sure you would have dropped dead. That's when it really hit me that I made the right decision for me. And also, it's the thing that allows me not to be bothered when people tell me, oh, you took the easy way out. No, I didn't. But I know had I not made that decision, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you right now. So it's that simple, man. It's that simple.
So what's a momentum that you keep, or I'm going to explain it better. Like for me, my momentum is my oxygen tank I have in my office, right? I use that as an aspect of I never want to return back to who I was, right?
I keep certain pairs of clothing. So I got a pair of pants that I kept from when I was a size 58. I keep those pants, and then I keep a jersey that I used to love. It's a throwback Harlem Globetrotters jersey. It's a 6X. 6X. Got Metal Lark Lemon on the back of it. So I keep that and that pair of pants. And those are the things that I look at just to remind me of how far I come, because I'm one of those people where I can be extremely hard on myself. There are certain days when I look in the mirror and I still see that 473-pound guy staring at me. Body dysmorphia, a lot of men don't talk about it. I talk about it because it's a real thing for me. I still see all these flaws when I look in the mirror a lot of the times. And I can get a million people telling me every day, oh, you look fantastic. You look great. I don't always see that. Now, don't get me wrong. There are certain days when I wake up and I'm feeling my goddamn self. But there are more days when I wake up and I look in the mirror, I'm like, oh my God, like I can change this. I can do that. So what I'm learning on this journey is not to be so hard on myself, but keeping those clothing items helps me. When I get really hard on myself, I look at that and I was like, no, Michael, don't be too hard on yourself. You've come a long way. You've come a very, very long way.
Okay. Can I ask, what do you think what makes you want to be so hard on you? Like, what's that? Because, like, for me, I know it's that I don't want to go back, but it's the idea of I'm not enough yet. I'm not my final form. I'm not who I am, who I want to be truly.
Well, I don't feel like I'm at my final form by any means. So there's an idea that I have in my head of what I want my body to look like, and that's the thing that I am striving for. But what makes me so hard on myself, and like I said, it's all tied into what I just said. It's about not knowing where I used to be and just being so hell bent on not going back to that. Like, and it's probably to a detriment sometimes because I can be super hard on myself. But like I said, it's me understanding, again, this is where therapy has also been very helpful for me as well, is understanding that, okay, yeah, I'm going to have those moments where I'm going to be super hard on myself. And my therapist told me that's where those clothing items come in handy, because when I have those days where I'm like, Michael, you're not doing enough. You're not working out hard enough. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. I can open up that closet, look at those size 58 size pants, that 6X jersey, and be like, nope, nope. You have come a long way. I've lost over 260 pounds.
Now,
That didn't just come. That came from a lot of hard work. From a
Do you
lot
hear
of
that?
hard work.
Do you hear that in you, man? Like when you said that 260 pounds, that was like a nail to the coffin. Like I killed that man. I killed a man in me. Like that's what I heard when I heard that,
You know
man.
what's
That's
funny?
what's up.
I say that. You say that, but my saying is I've lost 2 grown ass men.
Yeah.
That number, when I say that, I got a couple of my homeboys that are 140 pounds, 150 pounds. I have literally lost 2 of them. And when I say that to myself, that's another thing. I can say that and be like, Michael, what the hell are you being so hard on yourself? You've lost 2 grown ass men. You know, not a lot of people can say that. And it wasn't, I've been very hesitant to tell my story. Like I don't talk about it a lot, as much as I probably should. And it wasn't until we had Terry Crews on the show and we talked about it on the show. And then after the show was over with, he was just like, what are you doing? I'm like, what do you mean? What am I doing? And he was like, why are you not telling your story? Because I'm just one of those people where I've never been the type where I like a lot of focus on me. Like I don't like a lot of attention on me. And I've noticed there have been times when I tell my story and people think I'm being braggadocious about it. I'm not being braggadocious about it. I'm just telling you where I came from and what I used to be. So I never try to paint this picture like, oh, now I've lost 260 pounds. I'm the shit now. So, nah, it's not that at all. But talking to him, he was just like, you got to tell your story. And I was just like, I never look at, when I look back on all of that stuff, I don't think I did anything special. I did what I had to do to live, to be here for my family. So I don't like, it was never one of those things where I'm like, yeah, I lost 260 pounds. Let me go tell the world now. Like, nah, I did what I had to do because I needed to be here for my children, to be here for my family. So I don't think I did anything special, but what I'm learning as time goes on is if people are finding any inspiration in my story, then I would be doing myself and doing them a disservice if I didn't talk about what I've been through. And if it can help somebody, then why would I shy away from that if it's going to help somebody along on their journey?
That's right.
I wholeheartedly agree.
I make myself available. Like people reach out to me. I'm not one of those people. And I've seen it firsthand where people will reach out to them. And then the first thing you get back when you DM them about something is like, oh, well, I charge this for that. I've never been that type. Like if you reach out to me, if you take time out of your day to reach out to me about some bariatric stuff, the least I can do is answer that question to the best of my ability. I'm not the type, even with the training stuff, and maybe I need to do better with that. Like, but you know, I got a guy that I work with now. I know he don't have a lot of money, but he's on his bariatric journey. And my goal, if I can help him on that journey, then that's what I'm gonna do. So as long as I can help people, then that's what it's all about. Sometimes it's not all about how much money I can put in my pocket. Now, don't get me wrong. We all want to make a little money, but I know how challenging that this journey can be on people. And I know a lot of people who go on this journey don't have the support system. So who am I to tell somebody who may not have that support system, who maybe just a little help from me can help them stay focused on their journey? That would be crazy of me not to help them. You know what I'm saying? So
I feel you on that one, man.
So
Mike, oh, sorry. You can go, Tony.
So Mike, I've already told you in the past that, again, share your story because it does inspire people. But you're one of the people that were on the all men's panel for Bari Intentional. I was on that panel with you. You and a few of the other guys on there were the motivating factor for me to start working out again because I hadn't worked out up until that point. So, and honestly, like it's probably been we're at 7 months now, Rab, almost 8 months, where I am like starting to see the definition start to happen, like just from the lifting. So believe me, your story does inspire people, and it inspired me to really start to like take a focus on like, you know what, I need to start working out. I need to start, you know, like, because it can't just be all diet. You need to do something, even if it's just walking. And, you know, lifting just happened to be my thing because I used to lift when I was younger. But again, it motivated me to start working out and to like really start taking care of myself and be more serious about my health.
I really appreciate that, man. I've had multiple people here reach out to me and just say, you know, my story has helped them. And I have to get better with that. I don't do real good with that kind of stuff because, like I said, I don't think I'm anybody special. And so I have to understand that, you know, it's not even about that. It's just, like I said, if you find any part of my story inspiring, if I can help you in any way, then I got to embrace that part of it. I have to embrace the fact that just because I may look at my story and be like, hey, Michael, you just did what you had to do to make sure you're here for your family. But if you or anybody else can, like I said, take anything I say and use it as motivation, then I'm open for that one. And there's a brother in the chat, Chef Biggs. You reached out to me. Let me check my DMs. If I missed your message, bro, I totally apologize, man. So I will check that and I will get back with you here shortly.
Man, I wanted to tell you this, man. You didn't kill a man in you not to have a voice. You didn't kill it. Like, we're straight up. You didn't kill a man in you not to have a voice. And just like your name says, embrace life, you didn't kill a man in you not to embrace the life you live by the voice you had.
Thing. That's why I chose that name, because it wasn't until after I had the surgery that I realized that for 40 years of my life, I was not embracing my life. I was just kind of going with my everyday life. I just felt like I'm a husband, I'm a father. My only goal, my only job every day is to get up, go to work, and take care of my family. But what we as men have to understand is, we may have families, we may have all this other stuff going on, but if we are not taking care of ourselves, we are not going to be any good for the people that we say we love. How can I truly say I love my kids, or I love my wife, or I love my family, and all of that stuff if I'm not taking care of myself to make sure that I'm here for them as long as I can possibly be here for them? And I get it. We all got an expiration date. We are all going to die one day. But I was contributing to making that happen faster than it probably should have. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And my thing is, I get it. I can get out of this car right now, go across the street, get hit by a bus, whatever. Now, I'm not saying, you know, God forbid, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I was contributing to my death by not being able to control what I put in my mouth, or not getting my ass up and working out. And why? I mean, don't get me wrong. I was super lazy. That was the other thing. I was just being lazy because I felt like if I go get up every morning, I go work this 10, 12 hours, then the rest of the time I should be able to sit on my ass and not do nothing. But what I was fooling myself, because when I get off work now, I work 12 hours. When I get off going to the gym, that's my thing. That's the thing that I am pouring into myself. That's the thing that allows me to pour into myself and make sure that I'm a healthier version for me, most importantly. Because again, once I'm the healthiest I can be and the best version of myself, that's going to trickle down to everybody in my circle.
Mm-hmm. Well, Mike, I got to tell you, we got about 4 minutes left. I know you're probably cutting on time. I'm not really sure, but I want to.
You got 4 minutes, bro. She's still in here shopping, so
good. I want to make sure I have enough time to let you know, man, that from the start, when I personally found your page and I ran across your content, I looked at your content and saw you as, you know, damn, there's hope, man. Like, I can make it. I can do this, man. And I can't tell you how much, you know, you mean to me personally as a man. And really appreciate you so much for taking the time to come hang out with us. Oh, and also, I think those of the 17 of you in the comments in this live should know that the thirst trap has been passed to me.
Yes,
So now,
sir.
it now belongs to me.
Thank you.
So
You,
watch
sir,
out.
better run with it. You better run with it. That's right.
Watch out, because
right.
the baton has been passed to me.
It's all yours. I don't even want it no more. It's all yours, brother. Take it. Do with it as you will.
Oh, he is full on sprinting with that thing.
I tell them I don't thirst trap. I just document my journey. That's all. It's documenting my
That's
journey.
wild.
Documenting my journey. That's all I do.
That's wild.
But what I will say is
hide your kids, hide your wife.
Yeah, what I will say though, like seriously, the one regret I do have is not documenting my journey from the beginning.
Yeah.
So anybody new on their bariatric journey, please document your journey. I wish I would have documented my journey from the start up until now. I didn't really start documenting my journey till I was damn near 2 years into it. So please, document your journey. If you are thinking about having weight loss surgery, start documenting that journey now, because I promise you, a year or two is going to go by, and when you look at all the stuff that you went through on this journey, it will be the one thing that will make you realize that you did the right thing for you. Please, please, please document your journey. Take pictures, do videos, do before and afters, all of that stuff. It will help you on your journey to just keep yourself going, to know that you are making progress and you are not the same person that you used to be years ago when you started this process. So document. I didn't do that, and I wish I would have documented earlier.
No. I appreciate that word of inspiration. Yeah, I wish I did too.
Yeah, I know.
You want to take this out?
Yeah, I see so many people, especially like the new bariatric people I see on here, and I'm like, oh my God, like they got the camera at all the doctor's appointments and everything. I'm like, none of that shit.
That's real. That is real.
I wish I would have documented. So now I look back and it's like, I don't have anything from like when I first started this journey, like nothing, like absolutely nothing. So I hate that part of it. So I wish I would have had more, not even content. It's not even just to post it, but just to have it, just the stuff I can look back on and just, like I said, not like the piece of clothing I was talking about, but to have those pictures and those videos and all that stuff when I started this journey up until now, I wish I would have had that.
Yeah, my first 6 months are non-existent, basically.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah.
But thanks for coming out to hang out with us, Mike.
Document, so I'm glad that you're documenting your journey, ma'am. Thank you for listening to me.
Hey, man, thank you for coming up, man. I truly appreciate it. It's definitely a gift to hear another man tell their story, their journey, and like use the voice they have to continue to provide the message that needs to be out there, man.
Yeah,
This is what BME is
like
about.
I said on my platform as well, I definitely want to have a show revolving around bariatric surgery, so I'll definitely be reaching out to you guys about that one.
Please do.
And it was supposed to be done earlier. The crazy part about it is, like I said, this thing kicked off so fast, I wasn't expecting it to take off the way that it did. It's crazy now. We got people reaching out to be on the show, and we're not even reaching out to them. So this thing is taking off, so I really got to just get the schedule. I got guest line all the way up to September, so I'm thinking mid-September I'll get that show out the way, and yeah, I definitely want you guys to be a part of that as well.
We thank you. Congratulations on the success of the podcast too.
Yeah, again, so make sure y'all tune in, subscribe on YT YouTube to
Spotify as well. It will be on Apple Podcasts here in the next week or so. We've been having a roadblock getting this thing on Apple Podcasts for some reason, but right now the show is on YouTube. You can follow it on YouTube and Spotify.
Okay. And hit you up in your DMs if you're interested in any training.
And I got to do better with checking my, what's the other folder, the other spam folder. Because if we're not friends on TikTok, the messages won't come straight to my DMs. I guess they go over to another folder. So if you hit me and I haven't responded, it's probably because the message is over there, and I'm bad about going over to that other folder looking at any DMs. But I will check that. And if you reached out to me, I'll definitely be getting back with you.
Thanks, Mike. And again, we appreciate you coming to hang out with us, man. Again, y'all.
Thank y'all for wanting me in this, man. There's so many people y'all could have chose from, man. So thank you for even reaching out to me and having me on, man.
Well, thank you for inspiring us.
Thank you, man. I truly appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Honestly, before y'all go, man, keep doing y'all thing. What y'all doing is so important, man. It's so important, especially for and I get it. We are all inclusive in the bariatric community, but it's so important for men to see this kind of stuff right here, man. So thank you guys for what you do. You are top tier with this, man. So just know I'm a fan. I appreciate what you guys do, and I'm damn sure watching it.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Mike. We appreciate you, brother.
Sir.
All right. Hey, don't forget, every Sunday, tune into our sister chat, Talk Bari to Me with VSG Bestie, every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we'll see y'all on Taco Tuesday.
Hey, Rev, I gotta tell one thing.
8 p.m. I'm right there with you,
Have you
Tony.
had your vitamin yet?
take your vitamins.
Make sure you're taking your vitamins. And we just want to do a
Tell
shout out.
Bari Mother we got her till she can get back live again. We gonna hold it down till she get back.
Yeah, we got Bam.
1,000 followers, but I'm pretty sure we'll be seeing her live real soon again.
Yeah, last I looked at it this morning, she's almost to 800 already.
Almost to 800 already. Yeah, make
Can't
sure
stop
y'all
her.
follow Bari Mother. Nah, you know.
Can't stop her. Unstoppable force.
Nah.
Yeah,
She's coming back strong. She says she's coming back stronger than ever before.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
You can
talked
try
to her
to
the
kick
other
her
day.
down,
She
but
was-
you're just going to get up and kick you back.
Yeah, she was upset the other day when I talked to her, but I told her she gonna bounce back. She gonna be just fine.
Bounce back.
So this TikTok is some bull crap because they flagging my page now about unoriginal content of me posting to my podcast.
Yeah,
so I
they
don't
get
know what
that.
that's all about. I'm like, that's me in the video. It's me. How you gonna tell me I got unoriginal content? So TikTok is on some other shit these days.
That's
I don't know what it
wild.
is.
Yeah.
They deleted my DM. They deleted my DM, so I don't even know.
Like they literally kicked me. I am completely out of the creators program. Like I can't earn any money. Because all my videos, anything with my podcast has been flagged. I think I got like 8 flags, and they were just like, so I got an email yesterday saying that I've been kicked out of the program. I'm like, for posting my own content. Like, okay, I got you.
That's insane.
Then I appeal it, and then they deny the appeal, but won't give me a reason why they denied the appeal. I'm like,
Yeah, they
I don't
won't.
know who's doing it.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, I don't get it. So I'm just gonna probably stick over to YouTube. We're doing pretty good over there on YouTube, but yeah, TikTok clearly is not a fan of mine, so I will let them have this.
Yeah.
Got you.
All right, y'all. Happy birthday to ProCare, August 1st. Happy 14th birthday to ProCare.
Okay.
Don't forget VME 10.
VME 10, the greatest place to get your supplements and fulfill your supplements needs. ProCare Health. Happy birthday, August 1st, 14 years. Peace.
Love.
Mike, thank you so much, brother.